Okay, good morning. Please open the same book, First Flight. The poem we have taught stanza wise. Some more discussion on the poem we will do. Okay. So first one, the agony of the boy who lost the ball. So the poet is telling that a ball is not a big object. At the same time, it can be substituted very easily because the price is not much. Please open page number 46. Page 46. Page 46 to open the ball poem. The theme is the agony of the boy who has lost the ball. Because today more children are attending, I am told, so I am repeating it. Okay, please open page number 46. Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Please open 46. At the same time, some grammar also will read. First of all, I will again recollect the poem for you because today more children are attending. That's why. Because you are 10th class children, everything you should understand neatly. Otherwise, you will have problem. So, page number 46. Please open. 46 page number. So, the agony of the boy is reflected. What are the lines? The line is that. So, again, I will recall the poem for you. So, please listen. There was a boy. The boy was playing with the ball. The ball was thumping in the air. It was bounced back. So what happened in the staircase? Somehow the boy lost control of the ball and the ball fell down in the water, ocean water. So the poet was watching this. So after losing the ball, the boy became very sorry. And at the same time, he was so shocked that he could not say anything. And the poet did not intervene in the middle. He wanted the boy to be alone. So because he thinks a ball is not a very big thing. At the same time, the ball is not of costly price. The ball can be replaced. But at the same time, the boy should learn. Because in the life, we will lose many things. And we should understand that losing and getting is part of life. So if you do not understand that, what will happen? You will be always in pain. You should understand that they are like two sides of the same coin, losing and getting. If you lose, you gain tomorrow. If you gain today, you will lose tomorrow. That is the hide and seek, the game of hide and seek played by God. So, what is the boy now who has lost his ball and what is he to do? So, the poet asking us a question, where is the boy? So losing a ball is a everyday affair of the boy. Every child, you lose a ball, then you purchase a new one. So where is the boy? What is he doing? I saw it go merrily bouncing down the street. So it means here refers to the ball. The poet saw the ball bouncing. If you hit the ball, it will bounce upon you. It will deflect upon you because it is made of rubber. Because it is a rubber-made thing. If you hit it in the ground, what will happen? It will bounce back towards you. Okay. The poet is telling, I saw it bouncing back means what did he see? He saw the ball. He saw the ball merrily bouncing. Merrily means happily. Bouncing back. What was bouncing back? The ball. Okay. I saw it go merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over. There it is in the water. In the water. It has fallen. Try to understand, children. The boy was playing with the ball, so the emotion of the boy was happy. Merrily means the ball cannot be happy. Suppose I will say, I spent a so this was sleepless. I spent a sleepless night. So who was sleepless? Night or myself? My. Who was sleepless? Who can tell? Myself or the night?
Myself.
Myself. But I transferred my emotion to the night. Similarly, the boy was happy, but he has transferred his emotion to the ball. This is called in English transfer epithet. Like your simile metaphor. This is also one figure of speech. Transfer epithet means we transfer our feeling to the non-living things. The day was very tired. I am not telling that I was very tired. I am telling the day was very tired. Means I am transferring my emotion to the day. So similarly, merrily bouncing means the boy was very happy. Merry means happily he was playing. The boy was happy. He's transferring his emotion to the ball. Okay. There it is in the water. At last, what happened? The ball has fallen in the water. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. So you see, as I told you, when you grow mature, when you grow older, you become less emotional, and you think I can purchase another ball. But the poet is respecting the feeling of the boy. He is telling no use telling him means he is respecting the feeling of the boy. That the boy's feeling should not be hurt. If you tell there are other boys, other balls, or if you tell go and buy another from the market, the boy's feeling will be hurt. That's why the poet is telling the poet does not want to the poet does not want to hurt the feeling of the boy. Okay, that's why he is telling that no, there is a there are other balls, an ultimate shaking grip. This phrase fixes the boy. Shaking grip. The boy was grip means sorry. The boy was shocked by the sorrow. So the boy was shocked by the sorrow. Why he was sorry? Because of losing the. Hello, wait 1 second. Hello. आमेले तो कार्ड रे बदला 5 वर्ष लागो ना हेमंत तो पत्रे कार्ड तो चेक करे हेमंत तो कुछ लिखा क्लास में लिंक ना सिद्ध कोटे सेकंड क्लास कर ले मत एबे एगा okay so second exit so second means traveling TRAVEL. So the boy was shocked by the dream of losing the ball and he was so shocked that he is trembling with sorrow staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. So it was not one day affair, it has happened many days back. So the poet is telling the boy is going there and recollecting with sorrow the day his ball was lost. Okay. So please note down, this was not one day. The boy was recollecting with sorrow. Okay. Okay. Clear? Then we will go to this. I would not include him. So yesterday I told you yesterday the meaning of the word include. Include means to put yourself. Include means to interfere. By force, unwanted or undesirable intervention. It's called intrusion. Intrude. If you make it noun, intrusion. 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 Intrude is the verb. It is noun. So the poet is telling, I don't want to intrude upon his feelings. Okay. I would not intrude on him a dime. Dime means the 10 cents US currency. Dime is the 10 cents of US currency. US currency 10 cents. That is counted as dime. So the ball will be costing. The cost of the ball would not be more than 10 cents. The cost of the ball would not be more than 10 cents. The poet is telling. A dime, another ball is worthless. Why it is worthless? Because of the emotional attachment of the boy with the ball. It is not worthless because you are paying 10 cents. But at the same time, the poet is telling that it is worthless in the sense that it will not have that emotional value like the first ball. Worthless means of no use. Worthless, of no use. Okay. Then you see his senses first responsibility in a world of possession. World of possession means this is a material world. Possession means what things we own. House, car, fridge, TV, computer, AC, all are household articles. Possession means the things under your control are under your disposal. So world is nothing but possessions. Mother, father, brother, sister, teacher, student, all are our possession, our own. What we call our own is called possession. So the world is nothing but full of possessions, according to the poet. So Gautam Buddha told no, freedom from desire, freedom from sorrow. I told you a story also that day that if you have nothing, you have nothing to lose, no sorrow. If you have so many things, one will be lost, you will be in sorrow. Okay, people will take balls, balls will be lost always. This is the lesson of life. Okay. Always your balls will be lost. Life is full of accidents. What will happen tomorrow? You don't know. People will take your balls. Then balls would be lost always. These two lines are important because it shows the way the world works. Way of the world. The world works like this. You will be cheated. You will be snatched of the things which you love most, one by one. So if you are not mature, how will you tolerate? The poet is asking. So people will, in a world of possessions, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always, little boy. He wants to console the boy. Oh boy, don't think over one ball. In the world, in the life, many balls will be lost, and people will take away things. How will you tolerate? And no one buys a ball back. So one thing is gone, that is gone forever. You cannot get the same thing again. Whatever you get once, twice you will not get. This is the way of your life. You must learn how to forget. So forget means if you remember, if you cannot forget, you cannot be happy. Always forget the past events. He senses first responsibility in a world of possession. Money is external. Money is there, but money cannot pay everything. Money cannot purchase beauty. Money can purchase cosmetics. Money cannot purchase health. Money can purchase tonics and vitamins. Money cannot purchase knowledge. Money can purchase books. So money has its own limitations. So if you have money, you cannot buy everything. So money is called an external object. Okay, money is there, you cannot have everything. And no one is external, he is learning well behind his desperate eyes. Desperate means frustrated, full of sorrow. Desperate. Frustrated. Full of sorrow. So money cannot buy everything. Money is external thing. Money cannot buy beauty. Money can buy cosmetics. Money cannot buy health. It can purchase only tonics and vitamins. Money cannot buy wisdom and knowledge. Money can buy textbooks. So this is the limitation of money. So the poet is telling money is external. So the lesson we learn. What lesson we learn? That we must be mature. We must know that this will thing. The epistemology is lost. How to lost? How to stand up? How to regain? How to regain your confidence? How to stand up to regain your confidence? This is important. Otherwise, with one problem you will break down. Means you are broken down forever. So how to regain? knowing what every man must one day know, that must know how many days how to stand up. So this is the lesson. He has learned from the experience that everybody in the world must know from experience is knowledge, best knowledge. So textbooks give you information, but not knowledge. Knowledge you will get from experience. Experience is the best teacher. Okay, you did this and you faced this. Tomorrow you will be wise. So it day by day makes us wise. That's why the poet is telling that he should learn. He should be experienced to learn how to bear the loss. You must have the emotional strength how to bear. Otherwise, with one loss you will break down. How your life will be smooth. Okay. So, in order to live a successful life, one must learn the lesson how to bear the loss of losing. You bear your the loss, then you are successful. Any doubt is there? Poem I have taught almost twice because many children are absent.
Yes, sir.
Any doubt is there? Are Paramjit, what happened? You were not able to join. Now you are able to join. Paramjit joining now? Any doubt is there, you tell, otherwise some grammar we will read and conclude the class.
No doubt, sir.
No doubt. So some grammar we will read. That is the topic is agreement of subject with the verb. It is in your syllabus I saw, and voice I have taught, tenses I have taught. Okay. So Dhaka sir has taught reported speech also. Okay. So some grammar we will read today along with this.
Okay, sir.
Because we know we have to do both the things, so I have taken a simple topic of grammar. So we will read the agreement. Subject verb agreement. It is in your syllabus also, it is there. Please note down in the notebook because some basic grammar we must know. A verb must agree with the number and person in the subject. So, before going to this, we have seen that there are two parts of a sentence broadly. One is subject, one is predicate. So, subject he can play football, or he plays football. He is the subject, plays football is the total predicate. So, the object is football. Subject is he. Then plays is the verb. So, in grammar, there are many parts of speech, each has its own function. So, the work of the, what is the subject? About what the sentence is told. A sentence is nothing but a combination of words, arranged meaningfully. I am eating rice. Rice eating like this, if I write it will be wrong. So proper arrangement of words in a sentence makes a one subject. So the first is that this verb. So in a verb must agree with the number and person in the subject. Number and person, what does it mean? For example, simple sentence I am writing. He works hard. See the sentence. He works hard. Okay. Here what happens? She is a singer. Some sentences I am writing, I will analyze it and you will know what is the agreement. First we will start with this one. First rule, person and number. For example, she is singular and one person. So is used. Is the helping verb. So one subject, one auxiliary, one main verb. Auxiliary means helping verb. So this is she. Subject is singular, auxiliary is singular, and also the verb is singular. This is the main verb because there is no main verb. It is the main verb. But here what happens? It says they are. She is. Why? Singer, singers. Why? Because of the number and person. Clear? So the verb must agree in number and person with the subject. When the subject is singular, verb is singular, subject is plural, verb is plural. Singular and plural. Singular means one, plural means more than one. Clear? And second one is that it is tense. Okay, tense will be same. Suppose the verb is in the subject is in the present tense. The verb also should be present tense, otherwise the sentence will be wrong. So the tense, the time of the action, or the person, the subject and the number, whether it is singular and plural, must agree with each other, otherwise the sentence will be wrong. So this is only called the agreement of verb with the subject. Subject verb agreement in total. Clear? Now let us go to next point. Clear? Now this point you got it? Got it, no children?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next point we will see. Suppose this is main verb. We dealt with the main verb. Suppose in the case of auxiliaries, what we will do? Auxiliaries are modals, are helping verbs. What are auxiliaries? They are modals, are helping verbs. For example, can, must, ought. They are all modals. Okay, they will be what will be. So will and shall. They are all modals. They do not take S. Shall sheet will not be there. Must will not be there. With the singular or plural subjects. Suppose I can do it. We can do it. I cannot say we can do it. So these helping verbs, they do not take S. They are called modals. They are called helping verbs. They are called auxiliaries. Okay. So they do not take S with the change of subject. If the subject is singular, okay. If the subject is plural, okay. But they will not change their form. For example, she can do it. They can do it. So we cannot spell they can do it. We cannot make it. That's why the helping verbs do not take S. That is the second rule. Please note down. The helping verbs are modals like can, must, ought, will, shall. They do not take s in singular or plural subjects. If the subject may be singular or plural does not matter. They do not take s. They do not become plural. Okay. That will be their thought. They can do it. They can do it. We cannot do. It is wrong. Second rule. So shall we go to the third rule? Okay. Second rule followed. Followed second rule. Second rule you followed or not? Okay. In WhatsApp you send if you do not understand. Okay. Alisa present. Please note down. We will go further. Assis. Already Dhaka sir has told no Assis. Are Dhaka sir told the syllabus. You please ask tomorrow him. Assis. Okay. Alisa, Bandhan Vyas. Please ask the syllabus. He has told you. Okay. Any doubt is there? Second rule, third rule will do. Dhaka sir has told already. You please ask him. No doubt. Dhaka sir has told Riya. Okay, you ask Dhaka sir, you will get the right information. Tomorrow he has class. 3 days I am taking, 3 days he is taking. No, he will tell you tomorrow. Okay, those who do not know, please ask Dhaka sir, no problem. Till time is there. By 20th your exam is there, no problem. Time is there, don't worry. Okay. So these helping verbs, they do not take s. First one is that the subject, if the subject is singular, the verb and helping verb is bound to be singular, subject is plural. Verb or helping verb is bound to be plural. Okay, they change their form according to the subject. One. But in case of helping verbs like can, must, ought, will, shall, they do not take s with them. For example, she can do it, they can do it. They can't do it, you cannot write. It will be wrong. Okay. Third rule we will see.
Hi. Goodbye. Good morning, ma'am. Make it coming.
Sir, your mic is mute.
Okay. Because due to a technical lapse, the connection was, it is reconnected now. You are able to see me. Okay, third rule today will be, then you see, so in case of neither, either. So in English, no, neither nor, or, either or. This is that you are joining, neither you nor your friend have done it. Either you or your friend must come. We are using in every day. So in this case, what will happen? Okay. So here it will be singular. Neither of you is at fault. So according to rule, it would have been R. Because two people are there, it would have been plural. But in case of neither nor, what will happen? The rule will not be acting. It will be at par with the common rule. Okay. So tomorrow, 3 more rules we will see afterwards. Okay. So either of you is to be selected. So I am not telling either of you are, either of you is to be selected. So here I am not using plural, I am using the singular only. So this is the exception. 3 rules I told today. Subject verb agreement, you please remember. Rest you will do in another class. Okay, children. By then another class will start. Okay. Okay. Any doubt is there? No doubt. Priya, Maya. Priya, Maya. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Isadi present.